So, here with another video, because I don't really speak much about it, but anyway. I've spoken about corporate greed many times, and I only speak when I have something different to add, compared to like what other people are saying. And today, after watching a video about The Last Epoch and Diablo 4, I came to realise that, as far as I know, this topic I'm speaking about hasn't been recognised in gaming itself. And obviously corporate greed is destroying the games industry with quantity over quality and greedy monetization models. We're only months away from games where you have to buy your own weapons for gameplay. I'm calling it now. But really, how the fuck do they keep getting away with this? This is where I think I have a theory as to why this is happening, other than overpopulation of humanity and AI uprising. It's because we buy it. It sounds really simple, right? Like, we've heard it before, we know it's our fault. But have you ever thought that it's because of your buck that it continues to perpetuate what the industry does? Like, your money went towards this game that you don't enjoy, and you encourage more of its kind to exist, hence the term vote with your dollar. I've always been an advocate for not funding these games, and if you must play a game, well, sail the seas, become a bandit. I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures after all. However, I think this issue goes deeper. Why can't we just give up games? As any gamer knows by now, games are a great escape from reality, which is why we rely on them so much. Not to mention live service games take our time, so we can't put it anywhere else. Very few games handle the live service model well, and that's why we end up stuck in such a horrible mindset. Deep Rock Galactic, for example, is one of the greatest games of all time, for its somewhat goofy but tense dwarfs and space simulator, enough to justify almost 600 hours of gameplay personally within it. And it's a live service. It's getting updated every now and then, and that's fine. It works at a good pace and encourages players to take their time. This has resulted in one of the least toxic fan bases in gaming, period. But what if Deep Rock Galactic suddenly went to a monthly update model, added tons of stuff, and had microtransactions? Well, it wouldn't sustain. It won't survive for long. Everything good about it will be taken away as a result. I'd be drawn away from the game too, not to mention, even if something small but big in effect, like being always online was a thing, it'd be disastrous, and players would immediately drop off the game. Some would stay though, and that actually brings in the final issue, which is the primary reason we're greedy, also emphasising the escape from reality part. I call this part well-done attachment. I think this is a huge reason people even touch games to begin with. I mean they do, not don't. It's because of the world within it that's there to explore, and there may be even a personal attachment to it. The last Sonic game I played, for example, was Sonic Frontiers. I like the Sonic franchise, at least before it became bad with 06 and stuff. And they did a good job of killing the world for it there. But what brought me to it was the fact that it was Sonic. And the gameplay was done well in Sonic Frontiers, actually. Parts of it were, anyway. I was sucked in by that and ended up disappointed overall because of how poorly the game was executed, to where I'd call it one of the worst games of 2022. It's not to say every single part of it was bad. I certainly like Sonic's movement, hence the gameplay, and the boss fight music was good. Like, that was a holy shit moment, and Sonic and Metalcore go well. It's probably the reason you all keep looking out for games that you're familiar with. It's because we know these are games that we like, at least the world that we like. This is the equivalent of ordering a regular meal you know you like at a restaurant or a takeaway, and if that recipe changes right away, then you notice it. Then you feel disappointed and betrayed. It's no different with games, but it is a bit harder because games are the ultimate form of media due to how many different elements and interactions go into it. I discussed this a while ago, but I can't remember if I made a YouTube video on it. Games are literally the ultimate art form, from sound, music to graphics and video. It's truly a way for people to put these skills together and put them to the test, and hence why games are tending to overtake movies and the music industry now somewhat. This naturally leads to the point of the video, which I've said this entire time. It isn't only corporate greed that's destroying games, it's also us. And one example that actually came to mind when I was thinking about recording this is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. As much as people might not want to miss out on the story and the new Pokemon, which is a huge thing for anyone who's a fan of it, except for me, I'm a fan of Pokemon, but I feel no need to play the games to really get an idea of it. But it's because you have that morbid curiosity that you even end up there. I bring this up in the script anyway, so I'll repeat that, but it's because of that you just want to play it, and for me it's been tough to sort of drag myself away from it. Back on script, you have to say some very bittersweet goodbyes to a franchise or franchises that you loved. We're seeing a shift in the attitude towards games, but it's not nearly fast enough to me. I even have to mention most people can end up even being blissfully unaware that what makes games bad, or just think that games are supposed to have friction in them, or in this case, morbid curiosity as to why the game's bad. And the reality is, games are meant to be enjoyed, to have fun, and I don't blame people for not knowing what makes a game bad. But I do blame people who know what makes a game bad and continue to support it, despite what is objectively atrocious. And to close us off, in a world where money speaks louder than words, it's so much more important to be logical and thoughtful, not just to games but people too.